That first bite was the pork belly with the saltiness of the clams. But because we added the clams at the end, they're still juicy. They're not chewy and rubbery. It's really spot on. The salt's perfect. The pepper's wonderful. The cream, the texture. I think it's a New England comfort food. If you look at it, like especially Massachusetts, chowder is one of those things that people can make pretty easily. I enjoy hot sauce. I think most people do, but if you don't, even just a little splash of hot sauce of your liking into it just gives it a little more depth. Hi, I'm Chef Michael Rottman, private chef on Martha's Vineyard, and today we're making a local clam chowder. Pretty simple dish. You have most of the ingredients at your home: garlic, shallot, white wine, onion, potato, fresh thyme. We used half milk and half cream, so half and half also works. Local chowder clams, a couple cherry stones in the mix. We shuck them, had them ready to go. We saved their lacquer. We let the sand flow to the bottom, so we strain it a couple times, try to limit the amount of sand in the dish. And so that's what you're gonna see in this recipe.
Is there any pork?
Oh, yes. We forgot the pork belly. Oh my goodness. Obviously, any sort of pork product could work. In New England, usually it is some sort of smoked bacon or uncured bacon. Being a private chef, I have access to things, and I had some pork belly that was sous vide for 12 hours at 165 with a little star anise and black pepper. So we just kind of queued that up and rendered that in the pan. For clams, it's a flat, thinner knife with only one sharp edge, where an oyster knife is beveled to a point. Some have little curvature at the end, some do not, depends on preference. The French knives are tiny and sharp, whereas some of the stuff you see locally is kind of the bigger kind of sword dagger looking tool. But they both work differently, and so you should know the difference between the two and when to use what tool for what shellfish. So you want to find the hinge, but for folks at home that have a tough time with the process or intimidated by the process, if you put your clams in the freezer for 5 to 10 minutes, they'll start to open up and crack, at which point you're able to slide the knife through by the hinge, and then you're gonna disconnect the two abductors on each side. You'll start to see the clam open, and then you can slide your knife around and then just separate it and save the juice. So the roux, you want to make it in advance. You want to start with it and make sure that it's set and cool, because it won't bind properly if it's not fully cool. You want to use the best quality butter that you can. So I used about a stick of butter, and I mashed it with flour until I got the consistency I wanted. So it is kind of by sight. You want to make sure that you do cook it on low. You'll see it bubbling. You'll start to turn a little brown, which is a good thing because you're cooking that flour flavor out of it. They say that it should look in between peanut butter and almond paste is what you're looking for, at which point you want to take it off the heat and you want to cool it as fast as possible. You can put it in the freezer or the fridge, spread it out on a sheet tray or a bowl, and just make sure it's cold and ready to go when your chowder comes up to the right temperature to where you have to add it so it can bond with the milk and the clam stock. I added the shallot and garlic with the oil to kind of release some of that flavor into the oil, at which point I like to add the thyme and black pepper to kind of maximize the flavor out of those ingredients. Add the celery and the onion. And when you're working that all together, you're trying to create a flavor within those ingredients, at which point you slowly will add your potato and you'll start to deglaze with your wine and your stock. And you then want to reduce that. So that's what's really important, is that when you have those initial ingredients in, releasing those flavors together, you then want to infuse those flavors within your clam stock, at which point you reduce your clam stock with those ingredients, probably about by half. And that's when the potatoes are cooked through at that point. And then you want to add your cream and your clams near the end, and then bring that up to temperature, at which point we'll add the roux. Make sure it comes up to the boiling temperature where it binds, and then you want to cool it as quickly as possible if you're not going to serve it right away. With the roux, if you add too much, it's not a big deal. You can just then add more, half and half, so you get it back to the consistency that you're happy with. If you don't have any more milk or product or whatnot and it got too thick on you, you can always add water in a worst case scenario, and then you just have to re-season it. Make sure you check the salt level if you do add liquid into it. We have some chives and thyme. Just give that a little oomph. And then it's this time of year where we have nasturtiums. Then we have calendrum, which is one of my favorites. And This purple is called a bachelor button, and this is just lovely. I love purple, it's the color of nobility. So we'll get that in here. If you want a couple pieces of marigolds, there you go. Some black pepper. A little hints of the special. And then this is this very yummy truffle hot sauce, which I think would be lovely in there. And there you have clam chowder. That first bite was the pork belly with the saltiness of the clams. But because we added the clams at the end, they're still juicy. They're not chewy and rubbery. It's really spot on. The salt's perfect. The pepper's wonderful. The cream, the texture.
I know you like to add flowers. What do they bring to the chowder?
Well, they bring a sort of pepperness to it, which I enjoy. And this is something that the chowder and pepper are super important together. Same thing with pepper in mignonette. The reaction it has with the shallot and garlic, it has that undertone. So adding the flowers not only gives me aesthetics that are beautiful, but also it does add that subtle pepperness flavor while achieving a beautiful garnish as well. That's also coming from my garden as well. So to go outside and be able to add something to the dish, like my thyme, my chives, these edible flowers, it just connects us that much closer to the dish being local of the island. A part of me is in it. A part of the fishermen is in it with the clams. Obviously the dairy farmers. So we're all connected, the farmers for the onions and the shallot and the garlic, to all come together to make something simple that most people do have at home, minus the clams. I think is a really fun dish. And obviously grilled bread would be really great, or traditional oyster crackers. But today we're just gonna have it au natural, as they say. Enjoy, and I hope you have fun making this recipe, and happy cooking.